Good evening, my friends. This is Geraldo Lemos Neto from Belo Horizonte, Brazil. I'm here with Marco Gandra to transmit the program to Know Spiritism number 40. This is the 40th program of our series. Thank you all for being with us in all those weeks. I first apologize for last week's because I couldn't transmit it. We had problems with the internet connection, but everything is set up and we are here today transmitting live for Kardec Radio, for Spiritism Dissemination, and the ESN. I was seeing a book from Chico Xavier's psychographs, and I opened up in this message that is so, so nowadays problems. You see, it's the chapter 22, the inner sanctum. And first, Chico Xavier explained to us what was happening at his meeting in Uberaba, Minas Gerais. He himself entitled it Facing the Present. And we can see us in the present days in these words that Chico Xavier wrote. Facing the present, Francisco Cândido Xavier. Before our meeting, current events in the world prompted us to engage in long conversations about the survival of humanity in relation to world peace. We recalled the wars from the past and the current conflicts, and we attempt to figure out what our behavior should be like in such great contemporary trials. This is so much what we're all facing all over the world. It's like he was telling us yesterday what we are facing. And I was amazed that this message just popped up as I was looking for a text to talk about tonight. How should we act against insecurity? Asked Chico Xavier. How to ensure tranquility and the existential values? Such were the questions in our minds as we initiated the scheduled studies. The Spirit's book offered us question number 738 for analysis, and many people commented on the subject. At the end of our activities, our dear Emmanuel wrote the page that I now send to you on behalf of our friends and of my own. And he wrote this note. Question number 738 of the Spirit's book referred to above deals with the problems of wars, the destructive calamities and catastrophes, and the situation of humankind in such events. The Spirits remind us of our spiritual nature, which is immortal, and therefore not affected by such material destructions. You can see from Chico Xavier's remarks that the same problems that they were facing on the past is the same problems that we are facing today. Problems of a possibility of wars, problems with to ensure our tranquility, problems with our insecurity, confronting the coronavirus subject, problems with our existential values, the trials, so difficult trials, facing these destructive events or catastrophes like the pandemic of the COVID-19. So it's almost like Chico Xavier was writing to us today. And both questions, this question 738 of the Spirit's book, and also this text by Chico Xavier, Facing the Present, is directly related to our hearts and minds in this present crisis. And now let's see what Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's guide, instructed us about. His message is called Shelter by Emmanuel. He wrote, individuals may each build their own shelter during the great calamities that break out on earth. As a rule, we treat as shelters a small apportioned amount of space, of indoor space, that is assigned for services of protection and security in the world. Nevertheless, despite the respect we have for such places, to which crowds of people flock in times of crisis in pursuit of self-preservation, we understand that no individual is safeguarded from a thrombotic episode, from a cardiac arrest, from a nervous collapse, or from an emotional breakdown, not even if secluded in a safe stronghold, materially speaking. We are forced to recognize that in any difficult situation, far beyond privileged locations, we require inner support to experience serenity and discernment. A fortress wherein we may collaborate with dignity to suppress external turmoils whilst preserving our inner peace. This text is so very much important to all of us, because no matter where we are, in quarantine, in social isolation, in our homes or shelters, it's not the exterior world that will protect us, but it is for sure our inner peace. That's our most important stronghold. To maintain calm, tranquility, to maintain our faith in our Lord Jesus Christ and in our dear Father, our God, and to understand that everything happens for a reason. And we are spiritual beings having a material life that for certain is not forever. So we must preserve our inner peace no matter what is happening. And Emmanuel continued to write to us. However, we will not achieve such peace by fleeing from reality, but rather by confronting it through constructive action in order to unveil and make use of all lessons. So we cannot hide in a situation of crisis. We must confront it with our faith in God and with our actions, decisive actions to surpass it. Constructive action in order to unveil, make use of all its lessons. In this phrase, Emmanuel are telling us that we must see what lessons we have in all crises, and nowadays specifically, what lessons we can learn from the coronavirus crisis. And he continued, we will never have a safe haven by hiding in deserted beaches, within iron bulkheads, stony dugouts, or inside natural crevices. The actual shelter of each one of us is deep inside ourselves. So that's our reality, because we are immortal spirits. We must understand that, and we must bring peace to our hearts and light to our minds, so that we can stay with the inner peace that the spirituality asks us to be with. The actual shelter of each one of us is deep inside ourselves, says Emmanuel. The certainty that we are not alone in the regions of the universe. The trust in the survival of the spirit after the death. The faith in the wisdom of life. The essence of one's duty to practice good, and one's dedication to order are all very important resources with which to build a serene conscience. Here, Emmanuel gives us a step-by-step action that the higher spirits, our mentors and guide, wait and ask of us to do. The certainty that we are not alone in this universe. So Earth itself is not the only place of life in the whole universe. We have thousands and millions of other civilizations in other planets and other celestial bodies throughout the known universe. And we are part of this universal family. We must trust in the survival of the spirit, no matter what we are facing today. All the people that are dying, they are not annihilated. They are just facing the transition of death, leaving their material body, but on the other hand, they are awakening in the other plans of life. We must keep the faith in the wisdom of life, because together we can face all problems. If one gives a hand to the other one as a brotherhood, as a fraternity, as a solidarity society, we can overcome all difficulties, and we can, yes, find the solution to this coronavirus crisis, finding the vaccines and the treatments that we all need. And also, we must accept everyone's duty to practice good. So each one of us has a role to play, and we must play it with good in our hearts and minds. And we must be dedicated to the order, because without order there is no progress, there is no civilization. And Emmanuel concluded his text by writing, "In view of such truth, do not be afraid of the gales of unrestrained passions when tempests of renewal upsets the earth. Remain calm and trust the higher power that has breathed the essence of life in you. Tranquility, however, does not imply inertia, but rather defines the inner state of individuals who prepare themselves to do their best regardless of what the circumstances might be. So we must keep our faith, our tranquility, our calm, seeing all the truths around us, all the trials and difficulties, and make the strength to overcome them. Not with a passionate approach, with despair around the tempest of this trial, but with inner peace, remaining calm and trusting God, the higher power that breathes life in all of us. And tranquility is not to close our arms and to stay in a state of inertia. Tranquility is also action with peace of mind, doing whatever is necessary to secure ourselves, our families, and also our society, so that our society can, in the right time, overcome this obstacle. And at last, he says, pray while working and wait in constructive activity. That's the recipe. We must pray besides working. At the same time, we work for a better place to live, to our children and grandchildren, to our brothers and sisters. We can make it happen. We all have talents that God gave us. We just need to put those talents to work so that they can be multiplied and be a difference in our society. So it's not only praying in isolation, but also praying while working in a constructive manner, in a constructive activity. And Emmanuel closed his arguments by saying, and on all circumstances, let us all be convinced that the invulnerable shelter is always within ourselves when we accept the responsibility of living based on the justice and compassion of God. So the true shelter is inside our souls, is inside our hearts and minds when we surrender ourselves, our souls to God. This is our invulnerability, the shelter in the face of God in all circumstances, accepting our responsibility of living based on the justice and compassion of God. I think this was a wonderful message that I share with you all, and I hope we can meditate and think about that tonight and in the days ahead. Thanks for watching. Here is Geraldo Lemos Neto. I wish you a very good night and rest in peace. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye-bye.